We'll stay with sport. Fans of one of London's oldest football clubs are marching this lunchtime to try and save Dulwich Hamlet from closure. The non-league club have been caught up in a row over land, rent and redevelopment. Their case raised in the Commons yesterday, getting support from ministers and Jeremy Corbyn. Eleanor Cunningham is in Dulwich for us. Ellie, just give us an update on where we are now, because it is quite a complex dispute.
Yes, it is. Well, the club here and all the fans are already congregating for a march that's going to be taking place, walking from here down to Champions Hill, where their club has been for 80 years, and well, even more so. But in fact, the issue of this is quite a complicated one, as you say. Now, it's all down to the ownership of the ground itself. It's owned by Meadow Residential, who own the ground and have been doing so for some years. Now, they want to build houses on it, and this is a proposal that they've put through to Southwark Council a few months ago, and that was blocked. And Southwark Council say that this is due to the fact that they weren't offering enough affordable homes to reach their remit that they want to reach. Now, that happened a while ago. Now, following on from this, the ground itself, and that's owned, where the club was playing, the residential company were giving financial support to the club itself, but they then dropped that following the block from Southwark Council. Now, this left the volunteer-led club, left with a very big rent bill of more than £120,000, something that the club could not afford, and they ended up being evicted, and the club is now boarded up, and they're having to borrow space to play their games in the midweek. Now, Southwark Council have now said that they want to buy back the land, but that will be in the hands of the residential company itself. Now, this campaign has gained so much support. You can hear people tooting their horns here in Dulwich, but the local MPs are fighting it. The Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, has supported it, as well as many others. Now, today, that brings us up to hear the support with the crowds and the fans here today, who will be marching to try and raise even more momentum for their campaign. I'm joined by Peter Wright and Thomas. Hello.
Hi there.
Now, first of all, just tell us, why is it so important for you to be raising this awareness today?
Well, this is something we come and do every Saturday, every Tuesday night. We come to, games home and away. This is an integral part of our community. As you can see here, it's a very diverse community, young, old, lots of people from all different sections of society. So we're here to defend that. We're here to defend our community, really.
And when it comes, this is a really quite small community club, and it's a non-league club. Why has it got so much support?
Well, I mean, I think I think in some respects we're not that small. We're a big club, as you can see today. We're maybe not the size of Premier League clubs, but we really matter. So, it's a case of, our consistent engagement with the local community, with local groups, and that's built a lot of love and a lot of respect for the club here.
And Thomas, you're wearing the colours. Why is it important for you to join in with everybody here today?
Because it's a big part of my life. I've been going for about 6-7 seasons, and it's just something we do every Saturday and Tuesday, as Pete said, and we need the club to stay. Yeah.
And from now, what do you want then? What do you want from this match today?
Well, to be quite fair, we want to go home. We want to go back to Champion Hill. We want to have the club on a sustainable footing, long term, and to remain, part of the community for as long as it possibly can.
Thank you, gentlemen, and enjoy the march today. That seems to be gathering a lot of support. Now, we have managed to try and get a comment from the residential company, Meadow Residential themselves. Now, this was published on March the 7th. They haven't given us a more up-to-date comment, but this is what they've had to say. Southwark Council's legal action was an attempt to block Meadow's proposals to redevelop the site at seemingly all costs. We repeatedly stressed that Southwark Council that the club had only survived for the past 3 seasons because Meadow had provided funding, that without a viable stadium project, Meadow could not continue to do so. So that's where it stands at the moment. The residential company, it's really in their hands. Southwark Council want to buy back this land, and we will be hearing, hopefully, from some of the local MPs who are now fighting this, who brought the argument to the Commons yesterday, gathering even more support. And the Sports Minister, Tracy Crouch MP, has said that she will now fight this and take action and try and keep the club going. But whether or not it's at their home here is still in question.
OK, Eleanor Cunningham there for us in Dulwich. The very latest on the situation for Dulwich Hamlet FC. Right, fans of one of London's oldest football clubs are marching this lunchtime to try and save Dulwich Hamlet from closure. The non-league club have been caught in a row over land, rent and redevelopment. Their case raised in the Commons yesterday, getting support from ministers and Jeremy Corbyn. Eleanor Cunningham is in Dulwich for us. Ellie, just give us an update, because it is a pretty complex story.
That's right. Well, as you can see behind me, there are hundreds of people that have gathered in support, and these are all going to be marching down to the club's grounds, which are currently closed off to the public, which the club has been playing at for the last 80 years or so. Now, this is an ongoing dispute, a row between property developers, Meadow Residential, and the council, with the club kind of stuck in the middle. It's been a battle of the property developers wanting to build houses on the land. However, the council say that there aren't enough affordable homes in their current plans. Now, that then meant that the support that the club was getting from the residential company was then pulled, leaving the club with a rent bill of more than £120,000, which, being a volunteer-led club, they were not able to fund. This has now led them to being evicted and the club being boarded up. Now, as you can see, there's lots of community support here, and one of those who's been drumming up the support is Fiona. You're from Save Dulwich Hamlet. Now,
that's right.
Tell us, bring this up to date, because I understand that you've actually taken this all the way to the Commons this week.
We have. We've taken the fight all the way to the top. Yesterday was an extraordinary day. Our wonderful MP, Helen Hayes, she'll be speaking here in a bit, had an adjournment debate yesterday, specifically about the plight DHFC is in, but also that this plight relates to lots and lots of clubs, big and small, up and down the country. We were hugely heartened by the response by Tracy Crouch, the Minister for Sport. She said, specifically for Dulwich Hamlet, Meadow Residential, get back round the table now. Talk to Southwark. She wants to see us back at Champion Hill by the latest at the beginning of next season. If Meadows don't move quickly, she will send in a mediator. That was far more than we thought would happen. It's absolutely brilliant news. So really, Meadow, it's over to you. You can do the decent thing, you can do the right thing, and let us get back home.
They have said in the past that it's not for sale, and in fact the actual council, Southwark Council, want to buy back the land. Is this a case of if not when? If not, but that it's going to happen? Is that your feeling currently?
Well, we're hugely more optimistic now. Yes, Meadow have said it's not for sale. We probably think that's code for you have enough money. That seems to be all Meadows want here is as much money as they can get, as much money as they can make out of us, holding us hostage, doing some really spiteful things like trying to trademark our name. They won't win. Despite the snow and the freezing cold, there are loads and loads and loads of people here. We won't be bullied, and we are optimistic that we'll be back at Champion Hill at least by the start of next season. Fingers crossed.
It seems like there's plenty of people keeping their fingers crossed for you. Enjoy your march today. Thank you for speaking to us, Fiona.
Thank you.
Now, it would only be fair that we get the word from Meadow Residential as well. Now, we have reached out to them. They haven't given us an up-to-date statement today. However, they have issued this one in the past. They've said Southwark Council's legal action was an attempt to block Meadow's proposals to redevelop the site seemingly at all costs. We repeatedly stressed that Southwark Council, that the club had only survived for the past 3 seasons because Meadow had provided funding, and that without a viable stadium project, Meadow could not continue to do so. Now, this march will be going down to Champions Hill any moment now, and this row will rumble on. Now, as you heard from Fiona there, Tracy Crouch, the Sports Minister, is now calling time on this, saying that the government may get involved and get a mediator round the table if this seems to go on. She said she wants the club to have a future, but whether it's not at Champions Hill will remain to be seen for the time being.
Eleanor Cunningham for us, the very latest on the situation for Dulwich Hamlet FC.